everybody. Welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me once again for tea time. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. So today we have some Lapsang tea with a little bit of black sage honey and a little bit of spice. What the spice is, I can't tell you. I'm just kidding. It's a little bit of clove. Absolutely love that flavor of clove. Now we're in that season, right? We're here. We are in it. Halloween is all around us. My favorite time of year. I love it. Love it. So today is going to be review day. I kind of hinted to it in I think it was a vlog or two ago, and I said I was going to be doing some reviews, and one of them that I held up was this little beast, this monster. I love this thing. You see that? Can you see it up close? Let me see here. It wants to focus in my eyes. Here we go. Do you see that? That is the AndyCine 4K. That is an AndyCine 4K 5.5-inch monitor or touchscreen monitor. What's really nice is it does include 3D Luts. I'll get into that. Now, this thing is pretty cool for what reason, all right? But I'm going to get into that in just a second. But before I do, I want to tell you guys that if you haven't went over to my website, JCristina.com, please go check it out, JCristina.com. Everything there is 20% off. Anything that you want, throw it into your cart and use promo code YT20. That's YT20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off absolutely everything. Also, guys, brand new product just came out. It's my microfiber wipes. I'm going to put them here, maybe somewhere right around here. They were just picked up by B&H Photo and a couple other camera shops around the country and actually around the world. So definitely go check them out. If you haven't seen them, it's basically an amazing microfiber wipe. I made them very similar to my past wipes that I used for $6,000-$7,000 lenses that are multi-coat, very, very safe. But these will work on everything, not just your lenses, but I reformulate them so they'll work on iPads. Doesn't matter what it is, a phone. It will completely clean them. It's antifungal, antibacterial. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in there, and it's 100% safe. So definitely go check those out. Once again, it's Aurora Cleaning Products. That's ACP Products. Check it out. These microfibers are definitely something that you want to try. I promise you. So guys, into this AndyCine 4K touch monitor. Now, like I said, who is this for? Why should you care? All right. So if you are a Panasonic shooter, for example, and you're using a GH5 or a GH4 or a GH5S or whatever, or any other camera that doesn't have the little flippy screen. Now, we know that Canon cameras are notorious for having the flippy screen. So if you're shooting a vlog or something, you just flip the screen towards you. And now, like for example, this 80D, I can see myself. I know the focus is exactly the way I want it and everything is set up nicely, the way I want it to be. So I can see it. Well, with a monitor like this, or now you can see it out here, you can do the same thing, but you can attach this to the top of your camera so you can see it. Now it does come with a swivel, so you can swivel it towards your talent or away from your talent. So it depends on how you want to use it. Now, I have this hooked up over here to a 7D. Now, why did I hook it up to a 7D? Because the 7D does not have the flippy screen, right? So you would need something like this to be able to use it. Now, let's just look at what's on here. On the back side, you have your battery compartment that holds either Sony batteries, which is what you see back here, or like a Canon battery, like this one. Okay, you can use either one interchangeably on the back. That's really, really great. So if you're a Sony guy, you probably have one of these already. If you're a Canon guy, you probably have one of these LP E6s. They work out great. This one will last a little bit longer, but so now on the side, let's check this out. Over here, you have HDMI in and you have an HDMI out on the back here. The HDMI in, of course, comes from the camera. The HDMI out goes out to whatever secondary source you want to feed this clean HDMI out feed to. So what's really nice here, guys, is let's say we're doing a shoot inside a studio and we're recording the talent, but we also want the talent or maybe an executive producer or someone to be able to see everything that's going on. We can pipe this out, let's say a 30-foot HDMI cable to a 4K TV, and now watch everything that's going on. Really cool. Also, you can see here we have an 8-volt out. That goes directly into a camera. So you can actually power this and then through this power your camera, which is really great. Now, if we turn this around to the other side, here you can see your 1/4-20 on this side, you have a 1/4-20 at the top, and you also have a 1/4-20 at the bottom. Now at the bottom, things get kind of interesting. You can't see it over here, but what you have back here is a DC in, which is your 12-volt in. You also have your headphone jack. So if you want to listen to what's going on and monitor, you can. And finally, you have an SD card. Now, what's really interesting here with this SD card is you'd say, well, what does it do? Does it record? No, this is not a recorder. But what this SD card allows you to do is load in 3D LUTs. So it comes already with LUTs built into it, but you can load in your own custom LUTs into this, which is awesome because now you can sync what's going on here with what's going on there, and you know exactly what's going to be the final output in the video that you're capturing. Now, finally, on the top, you have another 1/4-20, and you have two other buttons. One is touch on and off. This allows you to turn your touch panel, this is a touch panel, on and off, but also it turns the unit on and off. And finally, you have a menu button. This menu button rolls back and forth, but also you can press it in. So we can use this if we would like, or we can use the touch panel. I personally like the touch panel, but during recording, we don't want to accidentally bump this touch panel and kind of change things up. So I'll go ahead up here and turn it off. So anyways, let's go ahead and turn this on, and I'm just going to set it up right here just so you can see what it looks like real quick. All right, so we can see that there. I think you can see it. Now I'm going to turn on the camera back here. Yes, and there it is. So now we can see the skeleton head over here as well as back there, which is being captured by that 7D. Now what's really great about this is that you have a ton of features on here that I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm going to bring this on my desk. I'm going to kind of coordinate this a little bit so you can see what's going on a little better. But what's really great is, as you can see, this looks pretty sharp, okay? But we don't know if it's dead on or not. So if I go and grab my focus over here and I turn it a little bit, you can see we're fuzzy. Now, I'm going to show you this in a minute again, but if we pinch in, now you see what's going on here? We can zoom in, and then I can go ahead and just simply dial that in until we get it exact. Like I want these teeth dead on, and there you go. This is perfectly sharp now, all right? We can come out, and there it is. So this is really nice for being able to get your images in focus, just perfect every single time, especially if you're doing product shots or if you're working with a client. Maybe they're doing some food prep. You want to make sure that strawberry is just rock solid. I mean, blistering sharp. You can do it. And you don't have to move around and do anything. You can look right on your monitor and know that it's correct. So this is what's great about these things. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this over. I'm going to throw this on my desk so that I can show you all of the functionality on this. All right, let's get right into it. Now, if we double tap on the left-hand side, we have options. The top option will allow us to change histogram, focus assist, audio meter, zebra, monochrome, as well as false color. Now, the second option will allow us to adjust safety marker, center marker, marker matte, and marker color. Now, the next one here will allow us to adjust scan mode, either underscan or overscan, video aspect, amorphic mode, flip H or flip V, which is flip horizontal or flip vertical. We have zoom times. Right now it's set to 117. If we go ahead and back that off, you can see we're now zoomed back out. Double tap again. Let's get back in. We have freeze, which will allow you to freeze frame, final pixel to pixel. Now, if we go over here to RGB, this is where we can adjust the LUTs value. We can also load in a LUTs through the SD card that I was talking to you about on the bottom of this, so we can bring in a custom 3D LUTs. We also have the ability to change the color temperature, the backlight, brightness, contrast, saturation, hue, sharpness, all those. And then finally, we have our settings. This will set what our wheel does, what language, transparency. That's the menus. Are they going to be transparent or will they not be transparent? We can also change the volume, OSD time, and of course we have the firmware update. This firmware update will scan to see if there's a firmware update. If there's not, then that's basically it. What I really like about this is if we swipe up, you'll see that we have 6 options and we can set them to whatever we want. Now, the first one is set for anamorphic. The next one is false color, then histogram, then we have audio meter, we have flip H, and then finally safety marker. Now we can set these to whatever we want, which is really, really great. Now, if we look at anamorphic, we can change that to like 1.5, 1.33, 1.5, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and turn that off. We also have false color. Now, a lot of you guys like false color because you can use it to see what colors are being blown out, which colors are not. Now, if you're like me, false color is a godsend. You know exactly what's going on. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Finally, we have a histogram. Now, you notice the histogram is going to show up over here on this side. That histogram will show you on the left-hand side your darks, and on the right-hand side, you'll see your highlights. And you want things, obviously, to be in the middle. If you see a lot way, way too dark, you know you're going to have your darks very plugged. If you have your highlights blown, you can see it on your histogram. I personally love a histogram. Now let's go ahead and shut the histogram off. Now we have an audio meter. The audio meter will come up over here on the left-hand side. Right now we don't have it plugged in, but you would be able to see what your decibels are. Make sure you're not blowing out your audio, which is fantastic. And now we have this flip H, which will allow you to flip the screen horizontally. Now, what's really important is, let's say if you're doing vlogging, you might want to do a flip V. Now, if we flip up, we can double tap on the flip H and change it to flip V. This is, once again, very important if you're going to be doing any type of vlogging and you want to flip the screen over to your talent or flip it back to you. You want to be able to flip the screen. So if I swipe up and click on this V, you can see we just flipped the screen vertically. This is awesome. Now let me go ahead and put that back. There we go. Now finally on this side we have safe markers, which are very valuable. Now you can set them to 70%, 80%, 90. We can do a 16:9, 16:10, a 4:3, a 5:4, a 1.85, whatever we want this to be set to, so we know what's going to be safe that we're seeing in this monitor. This is fantastic. So let's swipe back and I'm going to shut that off. What's also interesting here is we can slide our fingers on the right-hand side up or down and control the volume. That is really great if we're monitoring the sound in our ears. That's fantastic. Now we can take the other side and slide up and down, and that is the brightness of the monitor. Now this is really, really great, especially if you're working like a wedding or an event, and if the monitor is at 100% and it's in a really dark situation, this monitor would be the brightest thing in the entire room, and at that point you could just slide your finger down and now dim down that monitor. That is fantastic. What's really great about this is not only is it 4K and it gives you a lot of functionality, is that it allows you to bring in custom LUTs. That is fantastic. Now it has some built-in LUTs. Now let's go ahead and change this over to, let's see this safe marker. I'm going to double click on the safe marker and I'm going to change that to LUTs. Let's see, this is aspect, we got freeze frame, pixel to pixel, and here we can see LUTs switch. So if I swipe up and I turn LUTs on, now it's going to be our pre-programmed LUTs, whatever is in this. Now if we want to change this LUTs, that's all we have to do is double tap on the side over here, go down to RGB, and then come to LUT, and we have log C currently. We can change that to S-log2, S-log3. As you can see, it's changing here automatically on the fly. There's V-log. We have log C once again. This allows you to use its internal LUTs, or you can load in your LUTs with right here where it says LUTs import. You can import your LUTs into the unit using this SD card slot down here. Really, really cool. So let me go and swipe this back up and turn LUTs off. Now, if we double click this and change it from LUTs to zebra, for example, a lot of people like zebraing. Instead of using false color, they might want to use zebra. So that right here is zebra. Let's go ahead and swipe up. We turn zebra. And as you can see here at the top of the skull, we're losing some data in this area. That's fantastic. For me, I like false color. I can really see what's going on this way. This just works out really well for me. But once again, everyone is different. So once again, this is the 4K A6 Plus. This is a A6 Plus. They have an A6 out there, but this Plus gives you greater functionality. So guys, what did you think? It's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. I mean, I love having all of this functionality. You have histograms and focus peaking and zebra, and you have the false color that I absolutely love. You can freeze frame. You have RGB to be able to dial in the color just the way you want it. You have your 3D LUTs. You have just a ton of features. Your outgoing HDMI clean, if you want that secondary HDMI, you can power your camera right through the unit itself. There's so much functionality here, all right? So much functionality that it's just awesome. And for 230 bucks, I think it's a steal, guys. It's a steal. Now, there are some bigger out there. If I'm going to go out in the field someplace, okay, I want to probably have a 7-inch unit. This is a little bit small for me, but if you're doing vlogging or anything like that, this is a perfect size, absolutely perfect. For me, the camera that I use normally for recording, all right, I use a prime lens. Now that prime lens, since it's not a zoom, I have to put it back a ways to be able to get a nice wide shot, unlike this shot that we're doing today. So the camera is farther out. What I'm going to do with this is I'm simply going to run the wire instead of like a little 12-inch or 18-inch wire that makes this thing stand right on top of the unit itself. That's still a little further away from me. I'm going to put this on this little tripod looking thing, all right? And I'm going to leave it on my desk. And now if at any time I want to make sure stuff is exactly the way I want it, I can just look over, I can zoom in, make sure things are dialed in. If I want to hold something up and say, hey, look at this, guys. Can you see it? Does it look good? I could then just look right over and say, yep, that's in focus, and not have to guess. Now, Canon is very good with pulling focus, pulling eye focus, face recognition. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to lock in on me. All right. Now, there's some cameras out there, you know which ones there are, that just don't do that. All of a sudden, it'll start focusing on the back and then it'll focus here, then focus on the back and then focus wherever the hell it feels like it. Okay. I'm not going to name any names. Well, when you have a unit like this, you don't have to worry about that as much. You can look over, make sure everything is locked in, and just keep on going. All right. So it's very, very useful, let's say. If you have a camera that does not have the little flippy screen, or if you're recording talent and you want them to be able to see what's going on, and you can run this lead to them or run it to yourself and then have this external clean HDMI out run out to a big, let's say 4K TV, that's something that we do, it works out really well. It works out exceptionally well. Couple of down things, all right? Number one, in the direct sunlight, this screen is not bright enough, in my personal opinion. It does have a hood that you can put over it, but I still don't think that it's bright enough. That's what I think. Now, also, the screen itself, this touch panel, is just wants to just suck in grease and grime and fingerprints. It's a mess. Back to the product that I was talking to you about, the Aurora microfibers. check those things out. You would be able to clean this in a split second and it'll look basically like new again. So you'll need something like that with this type of monitor because it gets nasty really, really quick. I've been trying not to touch it too much because if not, you would see every single fingerprint in there. Another thing that I would say might be a down for some people is that if you do load in your 3D LUTs and you have the LUTs exactly the way you want it, the problem with the HDMI out could be a problem for some not. It does send out that signal that's virgin. Right out of the camera is exactly the signal that's going to be up on your 4K monitor. So if you have a 3D LUTs on this thing going and you see it a certain way, how it's going to be represented later on when you bring it in to your NLE, well, it's not going to look that way. All right. Your LUTs does not get baked in before being sent out through that HDMI out. All right, so that is a possible problem for some of you guys, some of you who could care less. All right. Another thing that I would like to see is the way that it does its flip. Now you see that we have a V flip and an H flip. One is for vertical flipping, one is for horizontal flipping. I think it would be nice if it was only one button instead of having two, because as soon as it has two, we have to use two separate one of these presets. And I think it only has like 6 presets. It only has those few. So if you want to flip something up and then flip it back down, that means you have to use vertical. Or if you want to flip it horizontally, you need that on there too. I think that they can fix that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. There's no reason to have multiple buttons to do the exact same thing, in my personal opinion. Also, even if the unit is powered down, and you have a battery plugged into it, it will continuously drain the battery. Don't understand why that is. I don't know how it is, but it just does it. I had a battery in here before. I had one of my Canon batteries, and matter of fact, it was this one. And I just let it sit in there, and then later on, I'm like, what the heck happened? The battery's like down to like 1 or 2 bars. You know, it's like 50% or 25% left. So don't leave your batteries in here if you're not using it. I don't know what it's doing in the back end, but you would think that when you shut it off, it would be off, but it's really not. It's still draining. So what it's doing, I don't know, but just keep that in mind. Personally, if I'm going to use this here in studio, I'm most likely going to use it with the option of powering this with 12 volts and then taking the 8 volts out of this and then powering the camera. It just makes sense because now you don't have to worry about any batteries and you can just keep running and running and running until the cards are full, right? So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is something that will be of interest to you. Like I said, if you have a camera that doesn't have a flippy screen, or if you do have a camera that has a flippy screen, but you know you have to have your camera farther away from you so you really can't see it, this is great to be able to put it next to you or next to your talent, and they can actually see what's going on at a moment's notice. So anyways, guys, as always, please throw me a big thumbs up if you enjoy my content. If you do, smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me. That would be awesome. Now, I'm going to leave a link down in the description and probably a pinned comment. That link will be to my Amazon account. So if you go and check it out through there, I might get 25 cents or 5 cents or whatever. So it will help support the channel. I am not getting paid, once again, by any manufacturers that send me equipment. I am not an affiliate also to them or anyone else. I do not have affiliate accounts, all right? So if you use my Amazon account, that will help me out a little bit, help the channel out, and I would appreciate it. Also, don't forget to head over to community.jcristina.com. Once again, community.jcristina.com. I set up an awesome kick-ass Discord server for creatives. You will absolutely love it. There's people there that are just 10 times smarter than I am, and they're just wanting to just spew all of their knowledge. So go just pick their brain, go check it out. It's free and it's awesome. Once again, community.JCristina.com. That's it. I'm out of here for the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next one. Many blessings.